doing, man?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Good. Just fucking.
Oh, sorry, today's my day off, and I got my boy. And right now it's supposed to be his nap time, but he's not going to sleep. So
what a jerk!
Hopefully we'll get no interruptions.
You can bring him on, man. It'll make the.
What's that?
Bring him on. It'll make the.
Oh, he will.
Way more
I promise
interesting.
you, he'll come visit while we're talking. So.
Awesome.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and I work at a tattoo parlor called 10th Sanctum Tattoo. And this is my boy, Evan. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Hey. Awesome. So, I guess I got a couple of questions to ask you. So, how often do you paint per week?
Per week, painting as much as humanly possible, I suppose. If I can come home and I can work on some paintings after this guy goes to bed, or even if he's awake, he'll actually close our glasses off. He'll actually help me paint, which is fun.
Oh, cool.
But I'd probably say at least 4 or 5 times a week if I can.
Nice.
You know, I try to get in, if I can, I try to get in about 8 hours of painting at least a week.
A week. Okay. And then how many hours would you say you tattoo a week?
Tattooing, I'd say almost 30 hours.
30 hours?
Maybe a little more.
Oh, that's good. So you get your 40 hours of actually doing art, and then
drawing too.
And yeah.
When I'm counting painting, I'm counting it as actual paint on wood or paper.
So then you have your prep time. So is there extra time added on top of that, the prep time?
Yeah, whenever I can. Honestly, to tell you the truth, man, I used to be pretty regimented about how I actually managed my time when it came to painting and everything. But I pretty much have to adapt to an erratic schedule,
right.
Which pretty much means whenever I can. So sometimes on his naps, or it kind of screws the schedule up when he doesn't want to nap. But it is what it is, and I make it work out.
Does that mean he has a NyQuil deficiency?
That just means he likes to be inconvenient about his sleep. But that's okay. That's okay. We play.
And how much, between drawing for tattoos and drawing for your paintings, how many hours on top of that would you put?
Man, I don't even know. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's any possible free time I have, we can. My wife's really into that TV show Shameless right now.
Uh-huh.
I've heard more of it than I've actually seen it. I'm usually drawing while I'm actually, if TV's on or anything. You have to consolidate your time when you get so busy, or you do jobs like what we have, and I'm sure you understand that, between painting, tattooing, drawing for tattoo appointments, handling the business end to what we're doing. It's there's a difference when you're doing your passion as opposed to doing a job. Right. And the thing is what we do is we're passionate about it. Hence the reason when we're not actually working or tattooing, we still draw, we still paint, or the thing is to maintain a family and to maintain everything, I have to find ways to, bring it all together, consolidate it in the sense that okay, well, my wife and I are going to watch, Shameless, and so I pull out the iPad and I start drawing on that.
Yeah.
Thank God for technology. I didn't ever want an iPad, and I didn't want to draw on anything like that.
Right.
But it wasn't until I had my boy that I was like, it helps out immensely because it's so convenient. I can actually do it.
Yeah. There was a time, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, where I switched from a normal size sketchbook to I think it was a 14 by 17, or maybe it was, I don't know, it was the bigger one.
Yeah.
And I noticed that my artwork changed just from the size difference, drawing in a different size,
Makes sense because of the movement of your arms, the way that you can draw. I mean, the more to your core that you can produce or make a line, the more control you have over it.
Right.
I mean, I used to think that when I would be intimidated to do a mural, or I'd be intimidated to do a giant painting on a wall, and I was always like, well, geez, I'm used to drawing lines like this, but then all of a sudden I have a spray can or a paintbrush, and I just walk along and I move from my core, and it's just the line's more perfect than if I was to try drawing on a small piece of paper.
Yeah. But, so, fuck, dude, that's 50 hours of art for the most part, and then you've got, maybe an hour or two to be a parent.
Yeah. Well, I usually... who was it? Was just asking me that, what's a day like for you? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I tell them, I'm usually up by 4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning. That's when I'll bike to the gym, I'll work out, do whatever, because you gotta take care of your body if you want to take care of your mind, and then your mind will take care of the rest of it, you know. And the thing about it is, like, you know, I'll hit the gym, and then when I get back from the gym, then the boy, he usually wakes up around 7:30ish, and then I have him in the mornings. I take care of him until about 12:30, and then I'm off to work, and then I'll be at work till maybe like 9 o'clock, you know, and then after work, I'll either try to go to a class or a jiu-jitsu class or whatever, and then I'll come straight home, and then pretty much it's drawing, and then I usually try to get to bed anywhere between 11 and 2.
So,
and then do it again.
And what time do you wake up?
4:30.
Oh my God, that's crazy, man. 10th Sanctum, that's your shop? Do you own that? Is it a private studio?
No, my good friend Jeremy Cruz owns it.
Okay.
He opened it about 4 years ago. We both worked at the same shop in Omaha for a while. Like, I'd been working about 13 years at a shop called Liquid Courage, and it just became a very big shop. You know, and we hit a point where it was time to move on. And Jeremy, he, you know, at that point in my life, I was kind of, it was kind of a negative time of my life, and I was like, well, you know, new things will be around the corner. You know, every time something gets bad, you know that eventually it's going to move on. And then he asked me if I wanted to do open shop with him, and you know, at the time it was like I was waiting for a sign, and that was it. So. We opened shop. It's been great. He owns it. He's the primary owner, and he's an amazing tattooer. But he's one of those guys that's like, no media, no social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, phenomenal tattooer. Like one of the best I know, and it just cracks me up. Okay, but it just cracks me up, yeah, because he's like. No social media. I even tell him, I'm like, hey, I got magazines wanting to do write-ups on our shop, and he's like, nope, don't want to. I was like, all right, whatever, to each his own.
So when you left that shop, you and Jeremy Cruz, right? That's his name?
Yep.
Yeah. So when you and Jeremy, you guys left together, or he left first and then you left after?
Unfortunately, no. With the situation we had, well, and then even worse, on top of that, we brought 2 other people with us.
Oh shit!
The shop we were at had 13 artists. Yeah, we left the shop, and I don't want to talk bad or anything. It's just the environment I was in, because that shop I was in, like when Jeremy first asked me to actually like possibly go with him and open shop, I was like, nah, I can't work anywhere else in town. You know, I'm LC all the way, because you know that's where I got my start. And I'm kind of out here in the Midwest. It's kind of like I'm kind of loyal to like whoever, you know, like I'm working with, you know. Right. But as that shop began to grow, and then there was a lot more negative vibes. Like a smaller shop, you have drama, but in a shop that gets bigger, you have politics, right. And then you start having groups within groups, and it just hit that point where it was just like I wasn't happy, and I actually like in 2012 and. You know, and a lot of this stuff is what I say in some of my workshops. But in 2012, I was actually reconsidering if I wanted to even tattoo anymore. Oh, wow. You know, I was not happy, all this stuff. But then I realized I was like, well, you know, I got tattoos all over my neck, my hands. You know, I better fucking man up and learn how to love this again. You know, and the thing about it is, you know, when you find your why, you know, your why doesn't find you. You have to find yours, you know, right. You just have to make that decision. And I just made that decision. I was like, you know, all right, you know, not only am I going to be good at tattooing, I mean, what's the point of doing something if you're not going to try being one of the best? Right. So then I just changed my mindset and I said, you know, I want to be one of the best, and I want to love art, and I want to love drawing, I want to love tattooing again, and I want that to be me. Right. And once I made that decision, it was like the law of attraction. Everything started kind of falling into place. But, you know, a lot of obstructions too, you know, but, you know, and unfortunately, like, you know, and then I remember I made that decision. I was like, I got to do something about this. I was on my honeymoon with my wife out in Estes Park in the mountains. And I remember telling her, I was like, I'm not happy. I don't like what I do. I don't like where I'm at. And then but I made that conscious decision. I was like, I'm going to change, you know, I'm going to be a positive person. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this my why, my purpose. And it was fucking crazy. Don't cuss. It was crazy because then when I got back to Omaha, my buddy Jeremy is like, "Hey, do you mind coming over?" And I was like, "Yeah, you need help moving some stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." And so I went over to his house. I walked in and he had like twice as much stuff to open up. Like he could open 2 tattoo parlors with everything he had at his house.
Wow.
And he's like, "I want to work." He's like, "I want to work next door to my wife. Would you like to go in with me and open shop with me?" And I was like, "Well, that's a clear and definite sign, and so, so we made the move, and unfortunately 2 of the other guys came with us, and it's like a divorce when it comes to when you're at a shop for that long and then you move on to the next. But
yeah.
I don't know. It was the best decision I've ever made because honestly, like I accomplished more within 2 years of being at that shop than I did in 13 years of tattooing at the other one.
Right.
And it was just and I don't think it's the shop to completely blame on things, but it's me. It's my mindset. It was my frame of mind. I did spend some time blaming the old shop I was at and saying like, well, they were negative, they did this wrong, they took advantage. But when it comes down to it, it was me. It was my mindset that I had to finally fucking change.
Yeah. As a person who's trying to leave a tattoo shop, what's the best way to handle that? You know what I mean? Like when you guys were going to quit, did all 4 of you guys go in and quit at the same time, or was there any?
Well, the biggest thing for us is it was really hard because you never get both owners in the same place ever.
Right.
And it depended if they were ever at the shop. It was just like, I mean, it's hard. I mean, like, so it was one of those things. It's like, well, we're gonna have to do this at once. But what we did is, I mean, like, we went and we got lawyers and basically figured out like what's the proper way about going about this. And so we gave a 60-day notice first, but we were independent contractors, but we weren't treated as independent contractors. We were being treated like employees.
Right.
So I was paying a percentage, paying a rent, and it's like, and then even after 13 years of working there, it was like, dude, you should be here till close, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I understand, but the thing is we just, and honestly, like when the move was hardest for me than it was for the other guys because I had much more of an emotional like connection. Because that's where I got my start,
Right.
And I'd been there so long. But it was just like, in the end, and I hate saying this, but in the end, now I actually, sometimes I have more resentment for them now because of how they were or went about certain things in the past. But I don't think that's it, for your case. I'm not saying that. But, it was just like we did a 60-day notice, but we just said, like, hey, we'll keep paying you rent for these 60 days. We just won't be working in our spots, because we're independent contractors. Now they would claim us as independent contractors, so they would get the tax break, but they still treated us like employees.
Right.
And at that point, we also knew, how alpha and hard-headed the owner of the shop is, or the main owner. And we knew that, if we were going to mention anything, he'd just be like, "Get out," But when we did the 60-day notice, I think he was like, okay, because it was, 4 artists or 4 tattooers, and, but then he was like, we were like, we can do it this way, or if you want, and if we're not working out of here every day, you can't, you can't use our space because we're renting it,
Right.
or we can just untie it now, cut ties, and then you can hire other tattooers, which at the time that shop was no problem. They had tattooers knocking on the door, good tattooers wanting to work there,
Right.
So, and that's the thing is the people that we left, they did that. Like, I remember getting tattooed by them when they were at another shop working, and they were like on the hush going, "Hey, this is where our new shop's going to be, blah, blah, blah. Can you paint?" And I remember they asked me to paint the doors of the place. And that's kind of where I got my foot into the door of tattooing, But they jumped ship, and they brought almost the whole shop with them.
Wow. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say it's reciprocal, but because I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is like when it comes down to any profession, or especially passion. I mean, when it comes down to it, and especially with artists too, is we all want to be the best, or we all want to work and be profound at what we do. Hey. We all want to do that. And so with that in mind, that means that we're never going to be completely satisfied with where we're at the moment. Right. And the thing about it is, I mean, I always said, you know, like if I happen, you know, and it's crazy because I think you and Frank go by a lot of the same rules with how you run a shop. But I told Frank a while ago, I was like, you know, if I ran a shop, I'd probably have 2 of the tattooers would be just rent, and then I would have 2 of the tattooers be percentage. The rental tattooers would be the ones that would be, you know, that have a clientele base that would be a little more known. It makes them happier. They'll stick around longer. Then they can make their hard money. But then I would have the other people that are kind of bringing their name up and learning and everything like that would pay percentage.
Yeah.
And then eventually those other tattooers, you know, are going to leave. You know, they're going to go do either their own thing or they're going to do something. And when that time comes, then I can move the other ones up in line. You know?
Right.
I can't say, like, I don't own a business or I don't own a tattoo parlor. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just how my perspective is. You know more about that stuff than I do. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like Frank, Jeff Gogway, you know, Timmy B, you know, a bunch of those guys, you even, like, those are the guys who actually helped me with my career quite a bit, you know, and the thing that I love most about it is all of you guys, every one of the guys that in the industry that I've respected so much or I've seen, you know, even like Joe Capobianco, like I met him before I even considered tattooing, and I was like, man, you know, like, you know, you guys all have the same work ethic, and you're all fucking down to earth, and I love it, and you know, and that's what I aspire to be like, is like you guys. I guess you guys are like role models, you know. I think it's awesome, and I think it's great. It's so refreshing to meet people that you've respected in the industry and then have them be cool, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm flattered, man. Thank you. In your opinion, what do you feel like is different about this tattoo convention than most other tattoo conventions?
The difference between it right now is Richmond convention's been going for a long time, and I think it's pretty cool because it still has that old school vibe. Right. Like I miss going to conventions back like almost 20 years ago. It was like there's an old school vibe, and the Richmond still has that. But then it has a new feeling to it. And when I was looking at the roster when I worked it last year, I was like, wow, there's a lot of like good tattooers here. There's a lot of profound tattooers and artists and names, you know. And everybody was so nice. Everybody was nice. Yeah. It was awesome. It was just a good vibe. So.
Well, those are the prerequisites to getting in the convention. You have to have a good portfolio and a good personality. And if you're missing one of the two, you're not in the convention.
That's good.
Like I've actually, like my partner Kenny, he does 50% of the booths and I do the other 50%. And there's a couple people on his side where I've been like, dude, I just don't like that guy, and vice versa. And we just don't let him in the convention, you know, unless we're really going to fight for someone and be like, yo, that's my boy. He's got to get in. But for the most part, there's a million people trying to get in the convention. We don't need to waste our time with people who are dickheads, you know.
Yeah, Kenny's awesome.
Kenny is awesome.
Yeah, that was the first time I met him was at the convention, and he was I love that guy.
You know what? That's why your style is perfect to brand our convention, is because you have that new schoolish feel that I love, and then of course you have that kind of traditional application that Kenny loves. So you know when
thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, when we were looking for, you know, the first year we did our own artwork, and it was just like, oh shit, we threw that convention in 3.5 months. So it was like, we need artwork, and we just drew some shit, and it's just this weird ass thing. But then when we actually had time to think about it, we're like, all right, we got to find somebody who can bridge that gap. And you were that dude, man.
Hey, man, thank you very much, man. I'm honored.
Dude, how does it feel like? That's one thing I think's awesome, is that you've essentially branded how many fucking tattoo shops and how many tattoo conventions?
That's kind of, it is crazy to think about that. Actually, and it's so funny because Frank Lanacha always busts my chops because of the fact that he's like, yeah, you're going to do lettering for Into the Woods, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't do any lettering for anybody else. I'm like, yeah, I ain't going to do that. And unfortunately, I pretty much only do my typography in a few different ways, you know. But, yeah, there's a lot. I've done his. Kelly Doty's. I've done a bunch of different shops. I did stuff for Off the Map. I've done stuff for, the Richmond convention, the St. Louis convention, a bunch of different ones, a lot of France conventions. That's awesome.
You did Due South, right?
Yeah. I actually, the last couple of weeks, I just finished up the poster for that one. I can't post it yet. And then I bet I'm probably about 3 or 4 hours left into finishing the new Richmond, Virginia poster. I'm excited. I'm having a blast doing it, actually.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. I got an idea for next year's trophies. I think I'm going to try to sway away from the trophies that I have now. I was going to say that we actually have, we're doing a kids tattoo competition this year. So basically what we're doing is we're having the kids draw on their parents or draw on their brothers, sisters, friends. And essentially just do whatever design they want, and then they go up and compete it for a chance to win $100,000 in a feature in Ink magazine.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding.
See, all you got to do is one drawing. You don't have to do like a whole 3 or 4 months that you have to film and all that.
And you have 6 hours.
That's the thing I was always afraid of. Is like I was always like, first of all, I know I wouldn't win that show. Second of all, I always think I'm like, like I see myself on film or on pictures, and I don't like who I'm afraid they would try making me look like some sort of meathead, like tough guy with the crooked nose and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey man, I mean, I don't like the way I look, but the one thing I've learned is it took me a while to like feel like I could be myself on camera and in interviews, because initially I was like, okay, I'm thinking about what people like and what people want to see and all this thing, and then I started realizing that I can't control. I can only be myself 100% of the time, right? Comfortably. I mean, you can fake who you are, but you can only comfortably be who you are. And with that said, as soon as you get in front of that people's eyes, there is nobody on this planet that gets in front of everybody's eyes and that everybody likes. And there's nobody on this planet that everybody hates either. There's like a lot of jerks out there, and people are like, I love him. He's a jerk. Like Conor McGregor. People fucking love Conor McGregor.
He's an asshole.
And he's an asshole. He's not an asshole to you, and he's not an asshole to me, but if you were going to fight him, that'd be uncomfortable.
Asshole, Dada.
Oh, shoot. I'm putting that one in for sure. Geez, that was my fault, wasn't it?
You don't say that. All right? He was saying wrestle, Dada.
Wrestle.
Did you want to wrestle? Is that what you were saying? That was funny.
Wrestle.
See, now he's saying wrestle.
Wrestle.
We're going to wrestle? We're going to grapple?
All right, let's wrap this up. So,
all right, my friend.
You ready? So,
yes.
What are you going to be teaching at this year's Richmond Tattoo and Arts Academy?
I am going to, first of all, share my process. So how I actually start a drawing and bring it all the way to a painting. With that, I'm going to embellish a bit on how I approach my tattoos differently than I actually approach my paintings. Along with the technique of how I actually, of my process, I am going to embellish a little bit on the philosophy. Because the one thing I seem to notice most about the few different workshops I've taught is I feel like a lot of people are more into learning your tricks and your techniques more than they are actually I guess you could say the running force behind it, which is, the philosophy. I mean, to foreshadow like what we were talking about before, the concept of getting up early or the concept of putting in that extra mile just so that you can actually have something different and something more innovative where you're setting the bar as opposed to following. Yeah. Right. So, it's like an hour long, did you say?
40 minutes.
40 minutes? Okay. Yeah. So with that, what I'll probably do is I'll probably, initially go through my whole setup and my technique, and then I'll just kind of hit here and there the philosophy behind everything that I do.
That's awesome, man. Are you?
I hope that was a good enough explanation.
Nah, man, that's good. I think I agree with that. Of course, I'd like if I had 6 hours with someone, I'd want to learn all their tips and tricks, and then I'd want to learn that part as well. But in my seminar, I teach more about ideation and how to create ideas. And I think that a lot of people aren't that interested in creating ideas. They just want to know how to draw what you draw without put it in the back end work, you know?
Well, that's the problem is I think too many people are trying to do what somebody else is doing, and they're not trying to, you know, find their own path. And the thing about it that I want to know, like, what, if I listen to something, if I listen to you, or if I go to other workshops, I'm like, I want to know. I don't need to know the technique as much as I want to know the why, the purpose behind everything that you're doing, and the process, because then it's going to give me, you know, tips and hints to make myself a better person, you know, and a more prolific and proficient painter. You know?
Yeah, I think a lot of times in a lot of these seminars, I might learn one or two new things, but most of the time it's more having an artist who I respect reinforce a lot of the things that I already kind of know, but you just didn't realize other people were going through that, you know, which is really comforting.
Being in the mere presence, and that's one of the best part about working these conventions. Like I have a few guys I know, and they get pissed off because they're like, "Oh, I didn't make any money at this convention, or I wasn't busy, or it wasn't whatever." But I'm like, you're looking at it in the wrong way. You know, the thing about it is, if you're going to surround yourself by all these other tattooers that are amazing at what they do, then you should be learning from them. And you know, even if it's just, you don't have to sit there and ask them everything they're doing. I really believe that just being in the presence of other talent, that you subconsciously pick up on different techniques and different ethics from them.
Yeah.
And that's what you know. I mean, that's what conventions are about in a way. Is like to surround yourself by other people that have the same purpose as you do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, and the idea of what a convention is all about has shifted over the years. You know, I think when it first started, well, matter of fact, I know that Richmond back in 1988. They had a tattoo club, and they met in that hotel that we have the convention. They met in that hotel. It was like 25 tattooers. And Paul Rogers was there, and Lyle Tuttle, and Gil Monty, and like, you know, they're all hanging out, and they're just kind of just sharing ideas. It wasn't a money thing because there wasn't much money to be made back then because tattoos weren't popular, you know. And then I think that it slowly started gaining popularity. They started making more and more money, and then more tattoo conventions came in and started making less money. And I think now...
That diluted.
Right. And then also the internet, too. I mean, before, a tattoo convention was the only way to get your name out, you know, like that and magazines. And the magazines would go to the tattoo conventions, and they would do articles on the tattoo artists, and you'd get to meet them and drink with them and stuff. And now it's like, you know, everything's happening through the internet. So
somebody just told me that too. They're like, hey, yeah, what was it? He was just telling me. He's like, I was at Barnes and Nobles and I saw you're in like 3 different magazines there, and I was like, that's so awesome. It makes me so happy. And he's like, even though no one reads magazines anymore, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started tattooing 17 years in 2001.
Oh yeah.
So back in 2001, even though it doesn't sound that long, I guess it was a long time ago. God, I'm old. But back then, it was just like, okay, you know, like you wanted to be in magazines. You know, it was like you felt like you accomplished if you were in magazines. And I remember being like, oh, try to get into magazines. But as soon as I stopped actually giving a shit about being in magazines and I found another purpose to what it is I'm doing, then all of a sudden you're in them. You know,
right.
But it's crazy with social media now because it's times have changed.
Yeah.
Minds have changed. I remember, you know, buying any images like different, you know, Flash or whatever back in the day. Now it's all at your fingertips.
Right. Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. And our attention spans are a lot lower, a lot less now too. It's like even with our art, the art is a lot more quick, candy reads, you know.
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, man. It's good to see you. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. This convention's going to be dope. This year's going to be awesome, but the shit I got brewing up for next year is going to be awesomer.
I'm excited.
I feel like I got all the pieces in place to start building like up. Right now, I feel like I've just been kind of building the base over the
Well, you jumped in and you finally got your feet like at a level, so that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But you're definitely one of those people that doesn't half-ass anything, so I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, bud.
All right,
hey,
Dave.
It's great to see you. Tell the lady I said hello, and if you need anything, just drop me a line.
Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Later, buddy.
My name is Dave Koenig. and I am super excited. I look forward to seeing you all at Richmond Tattoo and Arts Festival. Coming up here very short, actually very soon. So thank you so much.